Can I hear you there, Bob? I've got a little speaker problem, I think.
I guess it would help to
There we
unmute.
go. That works.
I muted for a minute and I forgot it was muted. I'm so sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bob, Randyl, and Company live preview show for Monday, September 12th, 2022. Say hello to my fantastic, nice-looking co-host today, Santa Randy. Good to have you back, man.
Hey, man, it's great to be back. Thank you so much, everybody. Bob, thank you. And Scott, especially. Thank you so much for covering me last week. I had a great time at the festival all weekend doing shows. It was just a riot. The children are so much fun to do magic for us. So thanks again for really, and everybody showing up last week on Labor Day, showing to the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great to be back.
Looks like you had a good event. Had a really nice stage that you was on there. Everything looked really good. So congratulations on that and the success that you had last weekend. It was good to have you back on the show. Yeah, Scott does a good job filling in. He's he's worthy of doing anything you and I can do, and so it's always good to have a backup when you need him, and he's there for us. I always want to say appreciate to OK Santa Scott up there in Oklahoma City, or Santa OK is actually how it goes. But hey, anyway, I want to say hello to everyone today. Ray Bradshaw, good to see you on here again, brother. AJ, Eric, and Mo, Rex, fantastic to see you doing good today, brother. All right, let's see here.
Nathan and everybody else
today. Anybody else that I missed?
Got Santa Tom and Nathan, and man, good to see everybody. And Facebook user.
Yeah.
Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right, fantastic. Well, you know what? Weather is beautiful today. Nice and cool this morning. Our temperature has dropped down a lot. We're not in that massive heat wave we were in. We're sitting in the 80s, low 90s, and absolutely gorgeous. I love this time of year. The ragweed has showed its face, but you know we'll deal with that. Got the allergy medicine we can take care of that with.
Yeah, that was. We're really fortunate today. I mean, we were 57 last night for sleeping, and we got into the 70s this day. A little, not much sun today. A little bit over the weekend was just beautiful. I went to a wedding Saturday night to the other side of the state, and just gorgeous wedding outside. It was beautiful weather, low 80s. So very fortunate here in Michigan right now. We had some crazy storms in parts of Michigan, but not where I was at. So I think Bob might be frozen. Oh, there he is. I see him moving again.
I was reading the comments. Sorry, I got kind of caught up in the comments.
I didn't see him moving there.
They're popping up so fast. I'm trying to read them as they come in to see if there's anything we want to mention as we go. All right. Again, weather fantastic. Anytime we can get 70s, upper 60s at night, we love that. That's perfect time to get out and enjoy the evening. And enjoy the sunshine the next day. Like I say, in the low 80s would be nice, but mid 80s, upper 80s, 90s, we'll take them all day long after the summer we've had. Okay, so hey, Randy, let's move on to Something Burger.
Wow, Something Burger.
Wow, there's something about that lead in that makes you want to get up, do a little air guitar, and the other thing is it makes you hungry.
It makes me hungry, yeah.
That burger looks awful good.
That's a big one I found.
It is. It really is. All right, so this is our Something Burger segment we started a few weeks back. Hot topics, basically, is what it is. We have two hot topics today to talk about. I want to kind of get into two different things. This is where we ask you, the audience, to participate. Give us your thoughts. Good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter. Just tell us what you're thinking about these subjects. The first one will be parade coat versus traditional coat versus no coat at all, but a waistcoat. Those of you who may not know, I think everybody does in the industry, a waistcoat is a vest that is longer in nature. Most of the time have either large belt loops or pocket belt loops. A lot of times, a lot of the new seamstresses are making those pockets where the belt will actually fit behind them, where they're stitched at the top and bottom, belt will go through like a belt loop. So tell us which that you prefer. What do you think about the difference? Now, real quick, I'll start off by saying that on the weekends at the mall, I wear the Adele coats, complete suits that Cherry Hill provides me at the mall. I get a traditional with the fur down the front. I get a Coca-Cola, so I switch off and try not to wear, the same one twice, 2 days in a row. Switch it up one Saturday, wear one, the next, Saturday, wear the other, vice versa on Sunday. But Monday through Thursday and sometimes even Friday, I would just have a coat and shirt on like Randy's got on, or vest and shirt like Randy has on today. Wear my parade coat down through the mall down the escalators to my set. Take that coat off and hang it on the chair, which is so much more comfortable. And you guys that are in the South, you know how hot it is down here, even in November and December. So that's the reason I do both. And I love the waistcoats. Fantastic look. If you go back to the mid 1800s, early 1900s, vests were short. They didn't even cover the top of your breeches. In the back, they were really short. They were halfway up your back, and it didn't look right. That was the Western days. That was the way things were done. Nowadays, our waistcoats are a lot longer and have much more style to them. The only thing that you got to watch out for those is setting on them and wrinkling them up. So, if you're wearing a waistcoat and you go to sit down, just make sure that flap is pulled back good or pop it up. That way it doesn't get all wrinkled. All right, Randy, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of like it varies for me too. A lot of times I'll wear the traditional coat or Coca-Cola coat, but usually if I do a day thing for children or something like that, I'll wear a vest and a nice puffy shirt. But I might wear a traditional coat opened up. I have a traditional coat that doesn't have a zipper in it, but it still has the fur going down each side and all that. So I still have the vest and coat. But I really like using the parade coat when you're doing a parade. I just love the way that looks.
Yes.
Or any of if I'm doing a big corporate event, I'll weather the heat with that second layer, third layer, you might as well say, because it looks, oh man, I tell you, that looks so cool wearing that. So I guess it depends. For me here in Michigan, I do a little bit of everything, and I can understand how people in Florida or even Texas, you guys south, wears this 90% of the time. I can't blame you. And like I said, it's phenomenal the way they look. It really does. And I see we've had a great variety of people saying traditional and long coats, but it is, you got to worry about sitting on the back of those. That's the problem. You got to pull that up before you sit down. That is definitely a big thing to say about. That is.
Yes, it is. So my follow-up to all that would be, it really kind of depends on what your client wants. If you're working outside of a chair setting, if you're doing parade, of course, the parade coat is what that was designed for, the big sleeves, the waving. If you do corporate events and you're going to make a grand entrance, a parade coat just can't hardly be beat. Now, you can wear that parade coat over your traditional or Coca-Cola suit, jacket, and once you get settled in, take your parade coat off, hang it, and then you still got your traditional or Coca-Cola look going on there. So, again, it varies. It depends on what your clients want. At this point, let's go over here and check out some of the comments. Angela, if you put some of those up for me, please.
Yeah, we've got a good variety of what people do, a little bit of everything, and which is great, which is fantastic. After many years of trying the fabric styles.
Yep, AJ, traditional coat. AJ likes a traditional coat, and so many do. And Randy mentioned wearing your traditional coat open. My very first suit that I bought was Costumes for Santa, and they actually show it in their website with the coat closed. That coat does not have any belt loops on it.
Yeah.
You wear your belt on it. If you cinch it up tight enough with it zipped up and the fur, covering up the zipper, the belt stays in place. But they also show on their website with the coat being worn open and the belt underneath on your vest. And that's kind of where that all started. That was the first place I saw that particular look 12, 13 years ago now. And I bought that suit for that one reason. I like that versatility of wearing the coat open or not, belt on the vest or around the coat. And I had guys writing me and calling me saying, where did you come up with that idea? I said, well, I wish I could say it was an original idea of my own. I said, but go to costumesforsanta.com and you'll see that's the way they promote it both ways. And it caught on, and that's kind of where the new style waistcoats kind of came in, with the belt being worn on the vest now. And more guys wear that, I think, more often in the casual form of things than they do with the belt on the exterior of the coat. But fantastic. All right, so AJ likes the traditional.
Yeah, I know Ken said he'd love to get a parade coat. They are something, Ken. I agree. Ken, he said he'd love to get a parade coat. And
they are. That's an upgrade that you almost have to, unless you're rolling in dough from the very beginning, and most of us aren't. We're on fixed income. We have to go in and earn money and put so much back for our business each year and upgrade. But that's one of the first things a lot of guys after the boots and belts will upgrade, of course, is that parade coat. And Adele's, I'm not sure what she sells them for now. When I bought mine some 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I think I paid $850, and it's got brocade on it, but nothing really fancy. I mean, it was just one of her normal parade coats. Then I turned around and Singing Seamstress in Houston, Heather Gabriel, made one, and I paid almost twice that for that one. So, and her prices have gone up. I know she's up above $2,000 for that particular coat now.
Yeah, that's
which is a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah, so they're an investment, but you're not going to wear that often. So
I stepped on you. Go ahead again.
I apologize too. I didn't. It was stuttering, so I apologize. Yeah, it's something. It's a real investment. So it's just something, and also it's going to last you a while because you're not going to wear it like you are going to wear a Coca-Cola suit or your vest and shirt. It's not going to be. It's not a constant everyday wear. So that one coat, that robe is going to last you years and years, even though it's.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody should have a classic Coca-Cola too. That's just that certain look. I totally agree. Somebody put they really choose the Coke. They like that idea.
Yep. Again, the parade coat, like you say, since you don't wear it except select times, it'll last you a lifetime. You can pass that on, later on in life if you need to. So jump over back to the comments real quick. Kim Boer says traditional and shirt vest for a casual look. Fantastic. I'm not sure who's the robe coat with short vest. All I'm getting there is Facebook user. So I go over here to my other. Anyway, not sure who put that up. Someone put that up.
That was Greg.
Greg? Okay, that was Greg. Depends on temperature. Eric says, because of my height, I prefer a waistcoat with parade coat. Good choice. Ray Bradshaw parade coat with a waistcoat underneath so I can take the parade coat off. That's great. And, of course, Rex and Darlene came up with a Pat did Santa's cool suit that has a parade coat over a waistcoat that looks like a cola jacket. And I love that. Many of you may have seen it, may have seen Rex talk about it before, or even seen pictures. If you haven't, go over and check it out. Rex has got it on his website, I'm pretty sure, or at least his Facebook page. I know there's some photos of it there. Ray Bradshaw says a continental waistcoat is longer in front. Yes, some of them are. Now, the seamstress have got where they vary different things. I know Chrissy Kovic, I bought a couple of vests from her waistcoats, and they are longer in the front. And she does that so that you don't set on that tail and wrinkle. And again, if you set on it wrong, it's going to pull you back, and, because it's going to tighten up on you. And so Rex says, so with the parade coat's off, it still looks like I'm full suit for pictures. That's true. That's the glory of the design that they came up with.
Yeah, it'll also go back to what Bob said a little bit. It also depends upon what your client wants. There's some clients, a lot of box stores and so that mall, they want the traditional suit, regardless of what you're wearing. I know I've said this story a couple of times, but 2 years ago I was interviewed on Zoom to do a tree lighting, and I had a traditional Santa suit on, but I had a little gold here and a snowflake on my hat, and they thought it was too flashy. This was for a local city, so I knew a parade coat and this and that would be way too much of a snowflake, and a little gold around that suit was too much. So I went to a traditional coat suit to wear, which I have, but it really depends upon your client,
Yeah, it really does. Ken Boer says, if anyone out there has a parade coat to sell, hit him up, please. He's in the market to buy one. That's the thing about the parade coat, though. Again, you don't see many guys selling their parade coats. They'll sell their suits after a number of years to either upgrade or whatever for whatever reason. But not that many sell their parade coats. Ray Bradshaw says Santa true uses the Continental West Coast with belt loops. Yes, he does. He started using those. Santa Tom said he had a color suit built to wear open or closed. When open, my lining is an old world map. Yes, I love those old world maps on the inside. I've got a couple of vests that have that Chrissy Kovic made for me, and I love that material. Santa Bayless Sr. AJ says, my dad prefers zipped up coat, Coca-Cola suit. Santa Tom says his CH suit is parade coat. And Scott Parker says first suit came from Walmart.com. And yes, I sent it right back to them. Laugh out loud. Santa suit on the front, T-shirt material on the back side. It was not even a full suit. I think we all have come a long way. Yes, we have, Scott. That's a good point. All right, Randy, any final thoughts on that topic there?
I just think it, and also I think it also goes to your character as Santa too. Some people it's how you feel comfortable, because some Santas I don't feel comfortable wearing. I mean, it took me a long time to feel comfortable wearing a vest and a puffy shirt, and I didn't feel comfortable like that being Santa at all for a long time, till I started doing virtual. Then I worked into it. Then I tried it live, and okay, it's accepted. So I think it's an individual thing also. I think there's no right or wrong. It depends upon you and, of course, your client. And that's the bottom line, because they're the one that's paying you. So that's probably my biggest thought about it.
That's exactly right. All right, so we're going to move along to topic number 2 in the Something Burger segment. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about, because that's what made me think about this particular thing. The official teaser was released this week on YouTube. Disney Plus, The Santa Clauses, with Tim Allen, Elizabeth Mitchell, and David Krumholtz as Bernard is re-entering back into the picture with that. And they're going to air 2 episodes on Wednesday, November 18th. That's on Disney Plus. And the reason I mention that is a bunch of guys put up the YouTube trailer for that. It's a really short trailer, doesn't really give you much. But a lot of guys said they didn't like the coat, didn't like Santa's coat, Tim Allen's coat in this particular. Got away from what they had. It's a traditional suit, but the fur is wider across the front. And someone else made the comment, and I agree, they made him look like a muscle man. I mean, he's even without the coat on, as he's sitting behind the desk in his trailer, he just has these big shoulders and arms. And then a lot of guys mentioned the beard. The beard looked plastic from the clauses 2 and 3. The plastic beards that was on there. Didn't care for the beard. The coat I could live with, but the beard I didn't like the look, because the sets that Tim had wore in those movies were so nice, so nice, and there were several different looks that he evolved in through those 3 different movies. So what's everyone else's take on that? Do you like the new coat, the new look of Tim Allen? Are you excited about the series coming out? I read this morning that there's even talk that if this series goes well, that it could lead into a Disney movie, Santa Claus, number 4. And I think that's what everyone really likes. Don't everybody have cable? Don't everybody have a Fire Stick or a means of getting Disney Plus? I know in our area, Disney Plus is an upgrade. It's something you have to pay more for. And unless you got small children, a lot of people don't even think about Disney. It's just not on their mind. So,
yeah,
Ken Brewer says he don't care for the new look. I agree. Ray Bradshaw said he loved it. So there's 2 different opinions.
Yeah, the suit doesn't bother me as much as the beard and the mustache. I don't know. I don't understand why, since they were Disney movies anyway before. It's not like they're taking away from some other company
Right.
for the look. I just don't understand the beard and the mustache. The mustache looks real plasticky, and I mean that one little trailer. So the suit, he might wear 5-6 different suits probably in the show, and probably wear regular clothes, so that won't bother me. it's if the beard looks real. I mean, he had gorgeous beards in the first couple movies, just
I
phenomenal.
agree.
Wow, I
And
wish my beard looked that good, for
I think those sets kind of set everybody to the realization that you can have a nice looking traditional style theatrical beard,
right.
and with Maggie at ZM Hair coming along, and her quality is up there, and her prices are affordable. That really made a big difference in our red suit community as far as traditional beards went. And I just can't believe that Disney would go to this. Does it not look plastic to you? I mean, kind of. It just doesn't look natural, and I think it's kind of a mistake that they've made there. They may learn from it. Who knows? Disney is their own entity, though.
They are their own world down there. They basically they don't have to listen to anybody really. They just but it's too bad because I'm sure that it'll be a cute series. It's a cute concept, you know. And I heard that guy, the son Charlie, they're even going to write in. They're going to write him into it also. I read that the other day. So I think it's going to be very interesting to watch. And then if they do a spin off without Tim Allen for another four, would be great. And I
Yeah.
just think seeing Santa on the big screen it would be a great thing to keep on keep going on. But yeah, we've had a lot of mixed emotions on our type ins about people that like and don't like, and
Mm-hmm.
so.
All right, so let's address a few of the comments over here. We got, I'm not sure who the Facebook user again is. That's all I'm getting here on StreamYard. Bob and Randy, I sent you a link to Mall Santa coat.
That is Greg.
Greg,
That is
okay,
Greg.
Greg, thank you. We'll get that out to Ken. Ken says he wants his hair to grow out like mine. Ken, double biotin daily over the course of, and it's something that won't show up at first. It'll take you 6, 8 months, maybe a year to really see the difference. But man, your fingernails will start growing, toenails, and your hair. And the one thing you got to watch out for is the hair growing out of your ears and out your nose, because it even helps that grow. But just stick with it; it'll get there. Keep it condition. And if you need any help with that, Ken, holler at me, and I'll give you some pointers outside of the show. Rex Ray says the suit looks very much like the style of the over the rack plush suits. That's very true. It does, and the beard is awful. I agree there on both counts. Eric and Moesha. Eric says, or Moesha says, it takes some mental programming because we're used to the previous Santa Claus movies. That's true. It's just such a shocker to see them go in such a different direction just for the series. Ray Brown says you can get the package for $9.99 a month, which includes Marvel, Star Wars, Hulu, and Disney. Yeah, yes, I agree with the scenes of the North Pole, and this is something I've mentioned a time or two, and I'll go ahead and mention it again here. When children at the mall ask me, what is the North Pole like? What does it look like? I refer back to the Santa Claus movies because you're not going to find a better representation of what fantasy you would think the North Pole would look like. That I just tell them, hey, they came to the North Pole, want Santa to do this documentary, this movie. I didn't have time. I'm too busy. But I referred them to a gentleman that I thought would be perfect for the role. His name is Tim Allen, good friend of mine. And, but they found it there at the North Pole. So if you want to know what the North Pole looks like, go watch those movies and you'll see it in reality. And they love that answer.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm excited to see it. I really am. I'm excited to see it. And I know Jackie made a comment about we were all kind of shocked 2 years ago or 3 years. How long it's been with Kurt Russell's look of Santa. That was a total with the non-traditional. He didn't have the white beard and all that, and also even making jokes in the movie about Santa's size, that he's not that big, and even so we would kind of took some people by surprise about not being, like you made a comment, looks a little more stealth now than he did before, But it is kind of funny though, in the Santa Claus movie, he steps on a thing and it's 225 pounds. I don't know many Santas that are 225 pounds. So that's a small Santa really. So it just looks funny. It looks funny in the movie, but yeah, we were shocked when it come to Kurt Russell's, and of course Mrs. Claus in that was a real shocker, wearing leather and Goldie Hawn playing that. So he said it's like Moesha said, it's kind of it's us getting used to that.
Yes, and of course we accepted it. A lot of guys are buying those that look, going with that look. Not even a lot of guys aren't even trying to bleach as much as they did. They say, "Hey, it's the Kurt Russell look," and but we've got to remember, Randy, that the Hollywood and the movies kind of mold things for culture. And as the children, each generation of child comes up, they see a different thing as they're growing up than we do. Of course, I've mentioned this before. We've talked about Miracle on 34th Street. That look was something that many of us liked. We saw that movie. We thought that was the way to go. And then through the years, everything seemed to evolve all the way up to Tim Allen series with the new coat with the fur at the bottom. Coca-Cola look above the belt. And then to Kurt Russell, and now into this. Now, with all that said, we want to mention that I don't know if I saw where Charlie was going to be in this series. Does anybody know anything about that? Have they heard if Charlie's coming back?
Yeah, I did read a little blurb that he's supposed to be back, but they haven't totally written a complete. But he's supposed to make an appearance. Probably won't be a regular the way it sounds, because he's got his other children that he's got to supposedly train, because they've lived in North Pole all their life. Now they got to wherever they're going to move to, Illinois or wherever they're going to move to. But
yeah, and I read that Tim Allen's real daughter in real life is also going to be on as the daughter again. But I was just wondering about Charlie, because he was such an important part of 1 and 2 that I didn't know if he would be back if they signed him. Because they brought Bernard back, which is cool. I like that. Yeah. All right, let's see. Maybe his beard burned off and he had to start over. That's funny, Eric Moicha. Okay.
Or he went through that sizing machine and became half toy and half, and only the beard became fake looking, that in number 2, I think it was, that he went through the thing and doubled. Actually, that beard looked better than it does now.
Yeah, someone mentioned up here in the comments about the toy Santa and Santa Claus 2. The beard, that's kind of what they went with this time for Santa himself. Okay, let's move on. We've beat the something burger. We done ate it down to the last nibble here. Let's move on and let's do some Santa Claus hit trivia.
Let me get through these comments real quick. Okay.
Here's somebody.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Don't forget to check out their sister site, MrsClausJewels.com, where Mrs. Claus Janice is a leading supplier for Mrs. Claus, elves, and Santa jewelry, knickknacks, and accessories. Both Tom and Janice are passionate about exceeding your expectations, bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Visit their sites at santascloset.org and MrsClausJewels.com. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
Okay, Randy, go ahead and let them have it.
Oh man, a great question. Here it is. What actor plays the role of the old in the old Scrooge by Disney in The Christmas Carol? What actor plays the role of Scrooge in the Disney's Christmas Carol? That's the Disney's Christmas Carol. So
Again, sticking with the Disney theme. And just so everyone knows, we'll go back and pick up some of those comments for the something burger. They were coming in so fast, and I wasn't paying attention, so we'll come back and pick some of those up after we get through with the trivia here real quick.
Yeah,
Yes, this is a great question. Again, tied Disney. We're talking Disney. Might as well throw something Disney in there at them. But
no, Rex, not Scrooge McDuck. Sorry.
But get your answers in. Of course, we know that Scott Parker and I believe AJ both are in timeout, so those two aren't going to win today.
But actually, Rex is right when it comes to the cartoon one. Was Come to a Merry Little Christmas that they have on there, the cartoon one of Scrooge and the Christmas Carol. But this is the live version of the Disney one that played the character. Really cool looking. Really, somebody said, Ken, it's not Jim Carrey, but he was in it.
Those are two good guesses, but that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, so I just can't believe all the guys are getting there. I just can't believe it's only 104 days till Christmas. 104 days, this is all over. Isn't that crazy? And I know you're starting next couple weeks doing photography ones, but for a lot of guys, the main season starts like on November 5th for a lot of malls and a lot of box stores, and that's only 54 days away. I mean, next week it's under 50 days away. It'll be here before you know it. I mean, tis the season. Well, you said you're putting your decorations up already, you said, Bob. So
I am. Again, the reason is I normally do that in October because I start, in November at the mall. And speaking of that, you start the first week in November this year. I don't start until November 18th at the mall. So we used to start that first week in November, but I think when Cherry Hill bought Worldwide out, they realized that those first 2 weeks were not very productive, and to keep their overhead down, they pushed back to, just before Black Friday when things start to, click and move along. But yeah, hey, look, we're already 12 days into this month. Just seemed like yesterday was the first.
Yeah. A couple of days. It'll be the middle of September already. A couple of days, middle of September.
So anyway, I went out to Decorator. Me and the wife and daughter and granddaughter went out a couple of weekends ago to Decorator's Warehouse. I'm sure you've all heard me speak of it before. It's over on the Fort Worth Arlington line, and gigantic decorator store. Bought some new lights for the roof. The ones I've had up have been up for a number of years, and the UV gets to them. They start to crack, and to me, that's a fire hazard just waiting to happen. So I've been out stringing new lights on my roof this year, and still got a couple more days to go to get that wrapped up and get some of the other things I need to do done. But I'll be starting with photographers the second weekend of next month. So I've only got a short 3.5, 4 weeks to get everything done I need to get done.
Well, that's cool. I do it the easy way. I have a 5-foot Santa. I have a 5-foot snowman. I have a 4-foot reindeer. I have a couple of 6-foot trees. Boom, boom, boom. They go out and they just light everything up. I used to like putting those icicles on the house, but too old to climb up there to put it just scares me too much.
It gets harder and harder, and your balance gets less and less. And I just did it, didn't think about it. Now I'm really conscious of how close to the edge I am, and how I'm always trying to keep myself back to keep from falling off. When I was a kid, I could jump off the roof and land on my feet and take off running. I fall off now, I'm probably going to land on my head and I won't run ever again, so we don't want to take that chance. All right, we still don't have the correct answer from what I can see over here, Randy.
We'll give it a little time, and they can do a little of this while we're talking, and while we can move on to seeing what's going on. Of course, special guests tomorrow night.
Yeah, let's go back and pick up those.
Those questions, those comments.
Before we move on to that, let's go do that real quick because I don't want to leave people hanging. We asked them to participate, but real quick, just before we get away, we got so much going on here. Before we get away from the trivia question, listen to it real close one more time. What actor plays the role of old Scrooge in Disney's A Christmas Carol? You put those words in there and you will get the answer. Click, click, click. Okay, let's go back up and pick up some of these questions that we had popping in towards the end there. I was getting ahead of us. Okay, so we said Santa Tom said neither the suit or the beard bother me. It's all about the fantasy. The children don't care. And again, each generation of child has a different vision because of the movies and the way things are molded in the image of Santa in those shows.
Yeah, I know. Scott
AJ
made a comment.
says,
He's oh, sorry. Scott made a comment that he likes the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Santa the best. He said that's what he's got a vision of what Santa looks, the bald head and a big white beard and a totally round, you know.
uh-huh.
So like I said, every child's got his own thought process.
And you know that claymation, Rudolph the claymation series, that was such a good. The whole show itself was just great because it depicted everything that had been talked about leading up to that point. Rudolph talked about the reindeer games, talked about everybody giving Rudolph a hard time about his red nose and how he was scared. The look of Santa that he had in that movie, I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. With my old set at the mall, we had a big screen that sat above my fireplace, and we were allowed to play Christmas movies. We played that one a lot because the children, towards the end of the season, when the line would start to get long, they would come inside the actual corral area inside the gate, sit down on the red carpet, and sat there and watch that until their turn to get up and come see Santa. So we played that a lot. Loved it. Ken Boer, I've heard Santa's head elf called different names. What's the standard names most of us use? I use Bernard because of the Santa Claus series. You know, up to then, I think everyone kind of built their own backstories and had their own names. I do have other names that aren't common that I use for elves, like my reindeer elves, Tiny and Shorty, which is really easy, but the kids get a kick out of it because I compare them to their height, and everyone knows that most elves are really short, so it kind of fits. Did I miss anything up here? I think not. AJ says Bernard and Curtis.
Yeah, I don't think Curtis will be back on this one. I just think Bernard's going to be and then there'll be a couple other elves, probably new ones, but just somebody who's coming back. Of course, Mrs. Claus will be back. She'll be the same Mrs. Claus, and it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm very excited about seeing it, and
Okay, so Greg Swick says, I'm hard at work on building some 3D scenes from the new Disney series, specifically the candy cane columns. Love that idea too. I'm trying to make sure we didn't skip anything up here because there were so many great comments that was coming in. Okay, AJ has a good point here. As of right now, it does not seem that Eric will be part of the series. Of course, we all are disappointed Charlie won't be included, but Eric seems to be content away from the spotlight. That's a good point. Very good point. I think that catches us up on that particular topic, so we're going to move along from there. Now, we do have some more topics that have popped up here. Eric and Moesha says, we traditionally do a huge inflatable display for Christmas. We don't think we'll be home long enough this year. What would you all recommend? Hey, we put, how many blow-ups have we got? I mean, between Easter and Halloween and Christmas, we probably got 30 blow-ups easy, but more than half of them are Christmas blow-ups, and they're so easy to put up. Plug them in, they blow up. You know, you go out and foo-foo them if you need to, fix their scarf or make sure their feet are, keep that right. Minimum amount of effort, and look great. People love to pull up, get pictures, get out and take pictures with them. So we love the blow-ups. We decorate the house, the fence, put up different things on the front of the house, front of the fence, and then basically the blow-ups cover the yard.
Got to put a sign, Santa lives here. I do. I like that.
I seriously don't know where you got this answer from, but I don't see this answer on here anywhere.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well,
are you sure you researched it good?
I did research it. Angie saying she can't find that answer either, and so far no one has gotten it. So if not, we'll figure something out here. But I know I didn't make it up. But anyway, I'll have to go back and figure out where I got that. I didn't keep the link to it. It was a new site that I was on, but I'm pretty sure I can find it. Kent Boer says he decorated heavy this year and may leave it up all year just to annoy the HOA. Hey, they'll get you for that for sure. It's been a number of years ago, 5 or 6 years back. I normally get mine down off the roof and stuff around the end of January, 1st of February, once I've rested and have a chance to get up there and it's not real cold and, no ice on the roof. And I got a notice from the city of Mesquite saying that I was in violation for having them up. Well, almost every house in the neighborhood leaves their Christmas lights up. I don't know why they picked on me, but I went out there and got them down. This year I got busy, did not take them down, but my wife and daughter got up there and took the bulbs out so that the hell and the UVs wouldn't get to the color on them because we put up red bulbs, the old school bulbs, not the LEDs. But that's another reason why the strands themselves and the sockets had to be replaced. They were already bad, but they're really bad now after being up all year.
That'll do it.
Jackie Chamberlain says their tree's been up for 4 years. COVID gave her time to finally add ornaments. That's funny, Jackie.
Oh, yeah, the trees are a different story to leave up. That's something about you get that at the everlasting. Of course, they're not fake; they're everlasting trees. They're great to leave up.
Santa Tom says that Jim Carrey played all the Scrooge roles. If that is true, and that's the answer that I go back and find, we'll give that to whoever had that answer first. Again, it could be my shortcomings on that whole thing. It was late when I researched that, but I'll double check it. We'll figure something out. We'll give away some goodies. We promise.
Definitely.
Scott says Jim Carrey's what he's found also. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. And I'll try to find the source that I had and see if I read it right and go from there. Okay, now then.
Let's do our commercial here for.
Let's finish up our commercial for the Santa's Closet, and then we'll move along to the upcoming shows. All right, Randy, tell us about what we got coming up here on the Tuesday Night Live show.
Oh man, tomorrow night is Santa Carlucci and Jenny Lynn. Oh man, he's going to talk about the Carlucci way and the new training that the way they've been doing it. It's like I said before a few times. It is so cool because you're actually going to see when he's trained, you actually see the performance, how it's supposed to look live and all that. Then they break it down afterwards, which is fantastic new unique way of doing it. So he'll explain it all, of course, far more than I just did, but it's a fun way. Besides, it got so many cool things. You guys got to get his reindeer whistle. I'm sorry, I love his reindeer whistle. I bought it many years ago at a convention, I think in Denver or whatever, and the kids love it, hanging from my belt all year. The reindeer, if you open it up, it's got room for a little, that fine confetti in it, and got the whistle. And so he's got some great products, and besides, they got some great ideas. Jenny Lynn, they've really doing a fantastic job out there. So don't miss tomorrow night. Don't miss it. And then coming September 20th already, September 20th is Cherry Hill, of course, recruiting time. They're still looking for people, so come listen, everybody. At Cherry Hill, they're looking for, of course, full-time yet. They're looking for fill-in. They're looking for all types of things. So if you got time, listen, don't miss that. And then October 4th, this guy's crazy when it comes to the virtual. Greg Switch, I tell you, Greg is a genius or something. I got to call him that when it comes to his video stuff. He can go from talking to his reindeer to putting stuff on the table to see his elves. Greg does a great job. And ask me, sure, he shows his wormhole. So, but he's got the Greg comes virtual. That's all he does is virtual. He doesn't really do any live. So you got to listen to Greg. He's another great guest. And then then October 18th, we got a little week in between there, but October 18th is the Halloween costume, which Bob will probably talk about more than me, but the Halloween costume, so think of that. So many great things coming up yet. Then, of course, the season.
That's correct. Now, while you was doing that, Randy, I went over and picked up my answer that I had. I'm putting that in the comments right now. And I did a Google search. The question I asked was George C. Scott in the Disney movie A Christmas Carol? What I get is Ebenezer Scrooge. The film was directed by Olive Donner, who had been an editor of the 1951 film Scrooge, and stars George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge.
So, what's that mean?
Exactly.
That means Bob gets the gift. No, that doesn't.
I don't know what that means.
Everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner. No, we can't do that.
We
Tom
all
will kill
get a
us.
card today.
But go over and check that out when you get a chance, guys, and tell me if that's not what you'd interpret. That's how I got my question. Santa Tom says, you said Disney. That is correct. I did say that. That could be the difference is where
Eric and Moesha wants to know so it's recommended to go with lights since we can't do inflatables. I think they misunderstood the question. I'm lost. I don't know where we're at. What y'all were talking about during all that.
Oh.
This show's going to the birds, isn't it? Let's see here. Where do we find that
It
out?
was in a private message.
Oh, private message. Okay, I'm sorry. The question was again one more time.
Let me pull it back up here. So it's recommended to go with lights since we can't do inflatables. I think they misunderstood the question.
They can go with lights if they're going to be away from home. I would suggest, and this is something that we do here, you can go to your home improvement store and buy a dawn to dusk or a settable timer where you can set it from, say, 7 p.m. at night to 10 p.m. at night, or to come on at 7, go off at 10. If you're going to be away from the house, that way your lights would come on. That would be a good remedy for that, Eric and Moesha. And if you want to talk more after the show, holler at me and we'll talk about it some more.
Okay, let me get caught up on my questions here.
Okay, Scott Parker, that will be a great show. I'll be watch the replay. We have an actor walk through Scare School Tuesday night. We open 9:30 this year. That's right. So Scott is also in the haunt community. Works for one of the haunted houses or whatnot up there in his area. Santa Tom, need a balloon artist, Randy?
Let me know where and when. We'll talk. Give me a. I'll IM you after the show.
So Scott Parker, was that a Disney movie? You know, I'm not sure. I'm sure that's what it said. Where in this particular link that I put up in the comment section was not the actual link where I found that answer last night. It was a different website. I'll have to go back and research and see if I can find that particular one. But for a quick answer, I put in, as I said, I'll reread this to you again. Was George C. Scott in the Disney movie A Christmas Carol? And it popped up, Ebenezer Scrooge. The film was directed by Olive Donner, who had been an editor of the 51 film Scrooge, and stars George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge. So I'm not sure. That could be the 51 series that they're talking about George C. Scott or not. I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with it. Again, it'll take some more research. But, hey, you know, these trivia questions have got where sometimes they're tricky. And so I guess I'm going to have to start trying to pick easier ones and make sure I got the right answer.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
All right, do we know where we're at? Because I'm lost.
Yes, we do. We've gotten through all of the upcoming shows. We did not talk about the Elfin Chatterbox news, which is kind of old news, but we're going to put it out there again for those who may be tuning in today that hasn't watched the last couple of weeks. Scott Parker, who's on today, had a series of 1 through 25 custom buckles made, serial number on the back of them. He sold out of those, and he had the artist proof number 1 that the actual 25 was based off of. The company, Scott designed it. The company made him an artist proof. sent it to him. He okayed it. That's where the 25 came from. He is auctioning off that artist proof number 1. Now, there was, he set up a raffle. All 25 spots for that buckle has been sold. So the raffle's over. The buckle is no longer available. But one of the 25 folks who paid to get into the raffle will win that buckle. And that drawing will be next week, September 27th, on the Tuesday Night Live show. That's next week. Is that correct, or is that 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
That's probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks, excuse me. In 2 weeks. But the date is September 27th. We'll have that drawing. Ken Boer says his number 12 spot's going to win. Boy, Ken, wouldn't that be cool if it did? Then you could say that you was able to tell the future. All right. Is there anything we haven't covered yet? Let's see. We also wanted to mention in the Up and Chatterbox News again that our show, today's show, the Bob, Randyl and Company live preview show is now on YouTube. We're begging you because we're desperate. Please go over and give us a subscription, subscribe, a like, a comment, something. Just let us know that you appreciate us putting that over. It's really easy to find. Just again, put in this what Angela has put up here on the screen, and it'll pop right up for you. All 10 episodes are over there, and today's episode will go up shortly after the show ends today. All right. Then the last thing that we want to talk about under the Chatterbox News is tomorrow night, Spangle is still on his way back from Pennsylvania. Again, he may drop in on the show, but he will not be the co-host. Santa Scott from Oklahoma City will be tomorrow night's co-host with me on the Tuesday Night Live show. So just wanted to put that out there for everyone so that you will know. All right. So, again, the trivia answer I had was George C. Scott. We'll do more research on that. We'll figure something out. If we don't get a winner this week, we'll double up next week. How's that sound? Is that fair enough? Okay, fantastic. All right. Hey, Randy, you got your show.
It's that time.
All right, here we go.
All right, let me.
Santa Shorts. Hello, everybody. It's Santa Shorts Times. Just a brief peek into the world of Santa. A couple weeks ago, I talked about the different kind of venues we do. Well, there's so much we have to do before even thinking about the venues. And the big thing is, of course, advertising. And that's kind of a rough thing to do, but something that I know everybody does, but business cards. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. I mean, I have business cards for, of course, my magic business, for Santa, and I even actually have a couple different kind of Santa cards. Even these have pictures on them in my logo. So don't forget, you have to pass out business cards all the time. And if you're making cold calls at different venues, this is something I really recommend. 2 ideas that are easy to make. We all, of course, have computers. You just make a easy tri-fold program. This is my logo, a little bit about me. Boom, some pictures, a little bit more about me, of course, your contact information. It's just a single page way. Then you go someplace, you're dressed up as Santa, or you go as casual dress. You don't go in your Coca-Cola suit or whatever. You wear the vest and you're ready to go, and you just hand these out. I did it a couple years ago for fire stations and things like that. And man, it was a great way to do, because you can print these off at full color, very, very inexpensive. You can lay these out on your computer. The other thing to go, of course, for promoting is easy to pass out is postcards. They're inexpensive. They're a dime a dozen to get postcards made like Vista Print. So always have promotion. This one, the other way. This one here. That actually is, I do this for all my characters. I pass out for all my characters doing magic and clowning and all those kind of things. But of course, then I have one just for Santa. But make postcards up. or have them made up. Vistaprint. There's a bunch of other places that you can design them very, very, very easily and very cheap to pass out. And I think they're more impressive looking than a business card. Sometimes they keep it more. But then if you really want to, this is what I've done for clients that I have worked with a few times. I make them a calendar. This, of course, is my agency one. I made them a calendar of all my characters. And you give them that, and all year long they're looking at me. And that's what we need to do is remind them all year to look at us. Remember that Christmas time is upon us. Where's Santa? Oh, there he is again. But for a couple dollars, if you're going to make a few $1,000s, it's worth to spend the money on a calendar. It really, really is. They hang it up and everything. And also, when it comes to making that, you also have to look at different ways of putting it. Some you might want to do for an agency. They're not going to want they're only going to want your phone number, but not your website on there for an agency if they're going to want to use it if you're doing it for them. But just you can make up both, especially when it comes to the dry ones that you're making up yourself, with or without your website on there to pass out. But if you're going to pass them out yourself as Santa, definitely don't forget your website or your phone number. But do it for. That's a good way to help you now. If you're saying I need to fill in some more time, get on the computer, start laying things out, or if you know somebody that knows how to lay things out graphically, and then take them to, I don't know if you can call it's not called Kinko's anymore, but the Federal Express place you can have them color copies made, or your local printer that are inexpensive. And so, but everybody you have to approach a little differently when it comes to that. But I suggest you making that up yourself and just promoting yourself just as much. Of course, we need to do Facebook. We need to put stuff out on. And of course, don't put anything wrong on Facebook. Nothing political. Nothing controversial on Facebook if you're going to use that as part of your promotional thing. Of course, websites are very inexpensive to make and start promoting. You can do a lot of them for free. Wix and a lot of other ones are free, or at least a minimal cost per year. So just start with that. We're only, like I said, 100 and some odd days, and Christmas is already over. 54 more days, or 68 days till the Thanksgiving itself. So just definitely go up there and promote. If you're doing a mall or a box store, you don't have to, but you still have your business cards. You still have to have those. So that's a little bit of Santa Shorts for today. But promote yourself, because you are a great Santa and Mrs. Claus. So let everybody know that you are, because a lot of people don't know how great you are. Promote yourself, and also when you put it on there, kind of emphasize what you are. Like I always make sure I put the word magical and something to do with magic on mine, because they know they're going to get that from me. So kind of customize. If you're a guitar player, put a little picture of that on there or whatever. So again, thank you, Santa Shorts. Just a brief peek into the Santa world. Thank you, guys.
Fantastic segment, Randy. You mentioned Vistaprint. There's others out there also. Vistaprint is one of the cheaper. Of course, Spangle card printing also does good work, inexpensive, maybe even matches Vistaprint's cost. I'm not real sure. You'd have to check into that. Cards Made Easy, that's another company I've used in the past. They're very good. Research, pick you one, and have you some of that stuff made up. Now, back to our trivia question. Rex Ray says he believes that the 84 movie was George C. Scott was made for TV movie on CBS. If that is true, that was my shortcoming on that one. I got it crossed somehow or another. Marketing. Yes, sir. Scott Parker says. Eric Moesha says, great marketing information. Thank you for sharing. Maybe the calendar is a giveaway for signing up on your website. Spangle printing is the best, someone says. So that covers them. You want to address the calendar portion, Randy?
Yeah, I actually I use it even as a drop off. Then it's like every family I go to, I mean, if they're a regular, they get a calendar, because if they're regulars. But a lot of them are just handed out if I see the client, if I go see the client like that, if I know, or if I mail it to the person that's signing the contract. If I mean, a lot of it's done electronically now, the contract, of course, but I'll just send them a calendar too, just because. It's that $3. It costs barely $3 for that calendar if you buy enough. like is worth it if you're going to make thousands.
Yeah, and many of you may remember last year we checked into having calendars made for the Tuesday Night Live show and the Bob and Barry show at the time, and supply was the delay on getting those was something terrible at that time. We were still in that supply chain issues that we were having, and the cost was considerably up. I don't know if that was due to the inflation rate going up or what it was, but we never did have that done. We backed out on it. It's still something I want to do in the future, but I've had a couple people ask me recently about, hey, where'd them calendars go you were going to make? So I thought since the term calendar came up, we would address that real quick.
Yeah, I also do it for my local agencies here, because everybody's got local talent agencies in their area. And if you hook up with a local talent agency, especially, that's why I made mine up, especially also with all my magic and my clowning and Santa. It goes to the local agency, and they use me, for whatever through the years. So it's multi-purpose for that.
Well, very good. Good segment as always. Love the Santa shorts. So at this time, let's go ahead and jump into If I Was an Agent. All right, fantastic. So if I was an agent segment this week, we're going to kind of jump into a little bit of what we talked about last week. We're going to take it to the next level here. Elves, training, and two-way communication. I know many of you know the two-way communication program that Stephen Gillum and Deb have developed through the years of using Bluetooth or using two-way communicators to make Santa, as Stephen's has got the title of calling it Smart Santa, and that's exactly what it is. Your helper can make Santa look awful good, awful smart. So I don't know how many of you have looked into that. I know for me at the mall would be a great tool to have and would really up our game. But then I would have to train a couple of elves that, and we're shorthanded as it is at the malls because they've cut back on the staffing last few years. So I don't have the extra elf standing around doing nothing anymore like I used to. All my people are very busy during the season. But it'd be a great way if you're doing corporate events or if you're doing even home visits. Mrs. Claus can go find out information, or an elf can find out information and feed that to Santa through his ear. That was just something I wanted to bring up. A lot of guys, the new guys, have never heard of the Smart Santa concept or the two-way communicators. And again, you've got to train your elves. If you've got new folks coming into the industry, and you want to look into having an elf or two on set with you. This was something that Eric Moesha and myself talked about last week in length about how you can utilize folks to come in and help be part of your presentation, your show, and elves is a good way to be able to do that. Whether they're a photo elf, if they're a line helper elf, or if there's someone who can get into the photo with you, dressed in full garb, and play a major role in your photos. It's a great way of doing things. Anyway, if I was an agent, I think I would look into trying to implement some of those in my high traffic gigs where it would pay off for itself. And if you are your own agent, that's something that would be well worth investing into, getting some type of Bluetooth two-way radio. There's various different ways of doing it. But feeding information from your elf or your Mrs. Claus to you, for instance, the children's name, their age, their puppy's name or cat's name, what Santa got them for Christmas last year, what their favorite class in school is. 3 points of information, and that child will think you are the real Santa. And that is If I Was an Agent for this week.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is so magical, that Smart Santa thing. Especially, it's really great if a lot of Santa's got a Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus is just talking to the children. Oh, how are you? What's your teacher's name? And boom, 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 boom. Santa just knows everything. It would be, as you said, a very smart investment to do the for an agent to be able to offer some of the Santas for the bigger events, because they're not cheap. You know, they're not inexpensive, but it's like the robe. You don't, you know, it's going to last you a while. So
Well, Greg, you know, the up on the shelf is a point of contention with a lot of Santas, because that has been a way that a new dimension that's been brought into the scene with Santa is, what's my up on the shelf's name? There's different ways of addressing that, but if you have that elf's name, that is something that child is going to go, you know, how did he know my up on the shelf's name? For me, I always say, look, we number those. You know, each one go out with a serial number, but we send them to you to name. You named him. Why would I know his name? You know, so there's different ways of handling that.
some people say,
Great to have you back, Randy. The last guy was not you, but we missed you, from Santa Scott. That's Scott Serton in Oklahoma City. He says he has 2 or 3 elves that work with him most of the time, and they use a small white board to get him the names. That's Santa Scott again. That's a good way of doing it. All right.
yeah, it's also another way somebody told me to do is come up with elfish to say, oh, your elf's name is Jinbaba. What? Oh, that's what we call them. That's what we only speak elfish up here, their names. So you can get out of the name knowing, because I've noticed lately that children ask more about what's my elfinish elf name than my name. You know,
Right.
they're asking that more. So I've used the elfish weird word more than I have the. But if we could do the smart Santa, man, I tell you, that would be a cool investment.
Mm-hmm. It really would. You know, the elfin part of that, as you was just talking about, is really a great way of doing it. But that's kind of something that you've got to preset in your mind and kind of have an answer that rolls off your tongue, prepared and ready to use. Santa Scott, speaking of Santa Scott, his youngest son is an elf that helps him, and we took his name and turned it backwards.
Oh,
And so his name is Martin, but his elf name is Elf Knitram, which is Martin backwards, which
so
is a
then
good way
yours
to
would be
remember, because you don't want to catch yourself where you tell a child something and they remember it and you don't, and they come back a few minutes later and you get crossed, because then you'd look like a fraud, right?
so then Bob, your elf name would be.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to go Bob or Bobby, then you'd have to turn that around and Bobby.
Yeah, see, that wouldn't always work, but
That would not always work, but
it's
it
the
did
same.
for Martin. It was a good name, and he loves that
Yeah.
name, Knitram.
Yeah, it's the same thing with how many elves you have at the North Pole. So many guys change the amount of numbers, and you've got to have that number, and you're always in your grain in your head what you're going to use. Because I did for the first couple of years, or not, when I started saying that, I came with a different number all the time, and I couldn't remember. Now I'm set. Now I know. It's been years, but that's like you said. You can't change your process the next time. Keep that backstory going the same.
You can always put Mrs. Claus under the fire and say, well, she's the one that takes care of the numbers. She's the bookkeeper. But, you know, I do know that each year there's more and more good boys and girls in the world. So I have to expand. I have to hire more elves. What does that do? Then I have to enlarge Mrs. Claus's kitchen, because now we have to cook for more elves. What does that do? We have to make the warehouse and the assembly lines bigger. I have to add an assembly line for certain toys. Also, I have to build a new dormitory because I've got more elves to house. You know, so I mean, you can play. I don't know how many I got. I got a bunch though. So many answers, so many good answers out there.
And it also, like I said earlier, it depends upon what you feel comfortable. You know, like I made a comment about suits. I think it's the same way. Because in the movie, in the Cursive Chronicles, they said there's 1 million elves up there. Now, I have a hard time saying there's 1 million elves. You know, it doesn't fit with me with my character to say there's 1 million elves at the North Pole. You know, I say there's 22,687. You know, so I just come up with that's the weird number I came up with, and it's easy for me to remember, 22,687. It's easy for me to remember for some reason. So, and of course, like you said, they always grow anyway. Well, they don't literally grow; they get more.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, man. I think we've had a great show. Been a long show, a lot of confusion. But again, I'm not sure what we'll do on the trivia question. Worst comes to worst, we'll just do 2 trivia questions next week, and we'll come up with an answer that way. But again, if I misinterpret what I had put in here, it's my fault. I'm sorry. No one else's fault but my own. But yes, George C. Scott was the original old Scrooge. It may not have been a Disney. Again, so many times you have these movies remade, and it can get confused. And hey, I'm old. I got an excuse. All right. Any other questions or comments at this point?
Anybody got
Shoot them at us if you got them.
questions or comments? Type them in right now. Be glad to.
So Facebook user said, how many apps do you have? Well, Randy just kind of answered it. And you got to build your own backstory. But the most important part about Santa's backstory is to be well rehearsed, to know what you're going to say, make sure that you're consistent, and that as Randy says, it rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, because we have to, and I hate to say this way, but we have to have believable lies. All our lies have to be believable. And so if we stutter and stammer, it's just not going to come across the same,
Yeah. Ken Boyer says he's not sure if he's even eligible because he won a couple of weeks ago. That's a 30-day hold that you're in.
I think, though, he hasn't won on this show.
Okay, so to clarify, Ken, Monday shows are separate from Tuesday shows. So if you won on Tuesday, you are still eligible for Monday. Unless you win on Monday, then you're not eligible. Kind of confusing there again, but just take Monday and Tuesday are two separate shows. Again, the same person cannot win both questions on Tuesday night. So if the same person gives the correct answer first on both the trivia questions on Tuesday, he gets the first, which is Derek Dugan's. And then the second one would go to the second person that had the correct answer by default. So it's just the rules that we set up. Those rules are over there on the Tuesday Night Live page, pinned to the top of the page. We kind of had to do that to start clarifying some of this. Plus, it's a giveaway, and by law, you've got to have the official rules. So that was another reason we done it. But doubling up next week, I think, is a good idea. I'm sorry, guys. My fault again. I promise I will do better. That's all I can promise.
It's just fine, Bob. I think they're all like it's rules.
That's Scott Parker. Yeah, Scott Parker rule. He's the one that, he won like 10 out of 12 when we first started, and said, everybody was saying, well, Scott shouldn't be able to play. He just won. Well, okay, we'll make a rule that says that. Scott, you can't play for 30 days. Go stand in the corner. But that's the Scott Parker rule. 30 days out once you've won. Elf Angela keeps a running tab on all the winners, when the date that they won, which prize they won, not the actual prize, but which company, be it Derek or be it Spangle or be it Tom, that they win, and the next available 30 days out, the date that they're eligible again. That way she has it in front of her when she's determining the winner from week to week. Otherwise, we would all be confused, and I can't have her confused over here. She's the backbone.
Thank goodness for Angela.
Thank goodness. And you too, Randy. We're blessed to have you. Thank you so much. We're blessed to have you.
You guys are incredible. And thank everybody that's watching again today, man. You guys, they put up so many great comments today. Really did. So many cool comments and connecting. Thank you guys for watching.
That's exactly.
I like the creative lies. Whoever wrote that, it was creative lies, not.
But that's exactly what we wanted when we come up with this new format just 11 shows ago. It seems like it's been longer than that at times, and other times it doesn't. But once we came up with this particular show that we're doing now with Randy and myself, we wanted more participation from you guys. We wanted to broaden the show. We wanted to add new segments to it to make it more interactive and to help teach. That's what we love doing. Randy's a great teacher. I try to be a great teacher. We all try to teach. Scott Saratine, he's been a blessing to us to be able to fill in, to have Spangle on Tuesday night with his knowledge and experience, and then to have three great sponsors in Derek Dugan, Spangle, and Tom Cordemelia. We're so blessed, but most of all, we're blessed to have you guys tuning in each week to check us out and to help us make this show what it is and Tuesday Night Live show what it is. All right, Randy, let's say good night. Good evening, goodbye, something or another.
Seems like night.
It seems like night for hours.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's always a pleasure. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. And most of all, Stay magical, everybody. See you tomorrow night. Great show, and see you next week. Thanks, Angela.
Remember,
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
3,
Everybody else, thank you.
3 p.m. here, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. See everyone later. God bless. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon. Bye.